Hey y'all, we are back again with a new episode of We Just Talking. I hope you've been enjoying the podcast up until now as much as I have. I have loved talking to every single person that has sat down across the camera with me and hopefully one day in person with me. Um, and so I hope y'all have enjoyed the conversations, learned something that maybe you didn't know, got a little bit of insight about, the different people that I've talked to. And tonight, I I say this every week, but I mean it. I literally mean it every week. I love my guest tonight. Met her through church. Her name is Chelsea, and I can't wait for y'all to get to meet her. So y'all help me welcome Chelsea. All right, Chelsea, welcome to We Just Talking. I'm so happy you're here.
Hey, what's up? I'm
Yes,
happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting for the day to be like, okay, let me call up Chelsea, see if she's ready to come on. We just talking so we can talk like we just do normal. Introduce yourself to the talkers. I like that. I think I'm gonna say the talkers.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hello. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm Chelsea. I am originally from Fort Worth. I guess you could say that I was raised in the country. It's me, my brother, and my sister. We end up leaving at the age of 10. Well, me and my brother were 10, and my sister was like 7. And we ended up moving to Pittsburgh, Texas. When I say Pittsburgh, people like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm like, no, Texas.
Where is that?
Small, East Texas.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Super, super small town. And so we end up moving there from 10, 11, 12, 13. So 4 years. And 10, 11, 12, 13. Think about how you were like in those years. Like
Yes.
those pivotal, like
It is.
telling yourself, puberty, like I got boobs, like what is this? You know what I'm saying? And so
Yes.
we end up moving to Pittsburgh with my grandma and my papa. And so that I feel like kind of shapes me into who I am. I'm super friendly. Everybody gonna get a hello. Everybody gonna get a hug.
Yes.
And so, yeah, so there, and then I ended up moving back to Fort Worth, graduated, went to undergrad in New Orleans. That was fun times.
I'm sure it was.
Fun. End up coming back, they tell you, hey, go and get you a degree. You get you a degree, you're gonna make 6 figures, everything's gonna be great. You're gonna live in a white picket fence, you're gonna have a dog, your house is gonna be huge. No, I literally graduated and was like,
so now what?
This is entry level. What is this? Entry level? No. I should be at the top because I got a degree. I got a bachelor's degree. Like, what is going on? Yes. And so end up leaving there, working at a call center. You know what a call center is?
I sure do.
When I tell you the most boring, no offense to the people that's working at the call center, just say, y'all know that job is boring. Boring, like saying the same thing, people hanging up in your face, people cussing you out is crazy. And I wasn't even collecting bills. I was just asking for a survey. We call about your Medicare Advantage plan. You have 5 minutes.
No, I don't. I don't have 5 minutes.
So I end up graduating, working at the freaking research place, calling people nonstop, and then fast track, end up getting married, finding my career, having 2 kids, divorcing. Here I am now.
And here you are.
Living my best life.
Ain't nothing wrong with it, girl. Yes, you got our 2 little best friends over there. Yes.
Just balls of energy.
Balls of energy. Keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
Yes, but they're so fun. Your boys actually crack me up more than anything in life. Like when I shouldn't laugh at the things that they do because as an adult, I should be like, no, don't do that. But it's so funny.
Girl.
It's not funny though, but it's funny.
It's not funny. And it's like, I tell them, I'm like, do you realize you cannot say that to me? Like, you're wrong. And they'll be like so confused. They're like, what do you mean? Like, I'll say, Lathan, what are you watching? And he'll say, can you just mind your own business? I'm just saying, mommy, can you just stay in your own business and stop worried about my business? I said, Lathan, let me tell you something, son, before I snatch you up out of your skin. You cannot talk to me like that. And he's like, oh, but you talk to me like that.
Yeah, buddy. But yeah, no, those boys are hilarious.
Um,
So like I said, when I was kind of dreaming up the idea of this podcast, you were probably like on the phone with me when I was like, we just talking. That's the name. And that's what we'll do. We'll just talk. And so now here we are. And it's been so much fun. Like,
I know it's fun watching your videos. It's like, look at Keith doing her thing, like walking her purpose. Like, you have been talking about this, and to see it when you sent me that text and you were like, I'm just gonna set this right here or something. I'm like, wait a minute, wait, this ain't the podcast, girl. This ain't we just talking.
We just talking. Here we are. And, let me call Chelsea. So I am so happy that you're here with me tonight. And I'm so glad that our paths crossed because you're like, I love your heart. I love who you are as a person. And I love that we got to meet your little broke best friends can be our little broke best friends. Tell me about that shirt that you have on, because I like that.
Well, I could shed a tear right now.
Yeah, tell me about this.
This is my come shirt. Jesus, come on onto the water. If you don't know the scripture, when the disciples were in the boat and he told Peter to come out of the boat onto the water and walk on water. So Peter was doing his thing. But anyways, yeah, so this is the beginning of my brand. Yes. Christ Out Loud. Christ Out Loud is the brand.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes. So it's for my unapologetic, unashamed Christians who are just like, I'm out here. Like, I'm ashamed. I'm unapologetic. I'm about that life for Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So I've always had this idea of putting things on shirts. Like, I'm like, I'll hear something and I'm like, dang, that should go on a shirt. Like, that should go on. And so this is my way of expressing my love for him, like just my infinite love. And this is all purpose driven, T. Like, this is, he's been on my back. He's been on my time about this. So I'm very excited to launch this. It's coming soon. My website, I'm still trying to stand up my website and things like that, but I have a lot of shirts that I've already made. So coming soon, christoutloud.com. I mean, every now and then you want to type it in, it might pop up.
See if it works.
Might pop up. Just might. But yes.
I gotta get mine. I think for the longest time we didn't wear shirts with like writing and stuff on them. Yes. But like, I'm to that point too where I'm like, give me a shirt with a Bible verse on it that says something. I let everybody know, right? I wear my church shirts to work and I'm like, is somebody gonna say anything? But does it matter if somebody says anything? Like, we can declare our faith as loud or as silently loud as we want to, because everybody has eyes and they can read. And so you can be a witness without even saying a word.
Absolutely. And you know what I also love is that it opens the conversation.
Yes.
So let's say I'm not sure, you say, what does that exactly mean?
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked.
Let me tell you.
Jesus, do you know about Jesus? Look, let me witness to you. Let me go ahead and make me a disciple real quick. You know what I'm saying? So, it's one of those things that it just opens the conversation, and I am excited to have, these ideas. My shirts, some of them are like just plain, and some of them are like, well, what do you mean by that? Like, I need to ask you a question about that. So I think it's opening that conversation, because for Christians, and let's be real, we hear of the Great Commission, right?
Yes.
Like, our duty. This is our universal purpose, to go and make disciples. Go the word of Jesus Christ, right? And so, but we're a little bit afraid to do that. Like,
we are.
When was the last time you've ever gone to a grocery store and said, hey, I want to talk to you about Jesus Christ? And you're like, what? You know what I'm saying? And so I want us to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I like it because it's so simple. Because somebody be like, well, what does Matthew 14:29 say? And they say, there you go. Yeah, exactly. And they could have just been walking past you and saw it, And so I love that. I can't wait to get mine. That looks soft too.
Yes, yes, it's a soft sweatshirt.
Yeah, no, I like that. It looks soft. I love the colors, like everything. So I will be typing in the website.
I'm gonna
So,
send you exclusive, like, hey, this is the first peek exclusive.
we love it. We love it.
Light
We're gonna
up.
take a little drive down to the house. We'll
Yeah,
drive on over. So
yeah.
yes. Well, tonight we were kind of talking about what we would talk about. And so you're kind of in a new season in your life. You mentioned it a little bit in your intro. Got married, divorced, and you have your babies. So you're kind of walking into the season where now I think you are saying like I'm ready to look at what's after divorce, what is out there for me.
Cringe.
Yeah, exactly, cringe. Look, I feel like so we're gonna get into it and we're gonna talk about dating a little bit. But I feel like dating, period, is so stressful. It's rough. It's rough. And so I think, but in your scenario, you've been married. You had a partner. How long were you married?
7 years.
You know, walking into a new season now, like, you're older, you have the boys. What has your thought process about stepping into dating been like?
Oh my goodness. So let me backtrack because I want to make it clear
Mm-hmm.
that I wasn't married, divorced, dating. Like there was a
Yes, yes.
process.
There's a process. Yes.
There
Yes.
was a very hard, strenuous process of
Mm-hmm.
healing because my marriage started off, oh, it was good. It was happy. Like, I mean, we're newlyweds. And then,
Mm-hmm.
and I will say this, I'll share my testimony. Like I'm trying to get comfortable with sharing my story. And so I'll
Yes.
say this. So there was warning signs before I got married
Mm.
of aggressive behavior. And so um I ignored those warning signs. Like I ignored them. And I'll tell you this, whenever remember I was telling you earlier about me moving to Pittsburgh to be with my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yes.
is how I was introduced to Christ. Like that was when I was introduced. I was like, who is this Jesus? What are y'all
Yeah.
talking about? Singing about? What is this? Not to say that I didn't know about it, but I didn't know enough about him. So that was my foundation right there. 10,
Mm-hmm.
11, 13. Like I'm solid. And so
Yes.
growing up in the church, you have that. And so going all the way through college, like that was really, really foundational for me and kind of solidified me. So anyway, so I had a relationship with him to where he was telling me like, no, 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 like, no, no, daughter. And I was
Hold
like, no,
up.
no, I know, I like him. I like him a lot. I love him, Lord. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so end up getting married and there was a lot of abuse there,
Mm-hmm.
physical, mental, emotional abuse. I mean, lots of different things happened in there. End up and then now I look back, I'm like, okay, I got Lathan and Lawson. Like I got my two
Yeah.
blessings from it and it
Yes.
was amazing. Like I don't regret anything.
Yeah.
Um, and so going in there, so to even to make the decision to leave, that was hard. Anybody that has been in an abusive relationship or a marriage, they will tell you how hard it is.
Yeah.
It, I mean, even without children, but here we are married with children, young boys,
Yeah.
that I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to make this plan. I gotta go. So, anyways, end up leaving. So there was a lot of trauma and a lot of healing that I needed to do.
Yeah.
I will tell you, being completely transparent, somewhere towards the end of my marriage, I lost my faith.
Mm.
Like I was like, he doesn't exist. He's not real. Like, how could he be real? Like, I don't see him here. Like I was so engulfed in darkness that
Yeah.
I didn't see him anymore. Like, I mean, did not see him, T. And
Man,
so,
friend.
yeah, it was a really, really dark, like even thinking back, I'm like, oof, like I was in a place that I didn't recognize myself. I mean, it was just crazy. And so what broke what broke the trance or whatever spell I was under was me leaving, and I went to go visit my best friend in New Orleans from when I was a Xavier. Now, when I was in college, I met her towards the end of my freshman year, and we became close. Like that's my best friend now to this day.
Yeah.
My other half, like my person. And so her family was in the church, like everybody in the church. She grew up in the church, like she might as well have been a PK. And
Yeah.
so that was good. So that was good. I had that when I was in college. So anyway, so when I left and went to go visit her for a production that she was hosting, I remember walking into her house.
Mm-hmm.
I felt the spirit on me. I was like, it's like I can breathe.
Yeah.
I can breathe. I can breathe. Oh my goodness, it's okay. I'm not alone. He's here. He's here with me. Oh my God. Like almost like on my knees, like I submit, like I'm sorry, you know? And so, no lie, when I left and went back, I
Mm-hmm.
left the next day.
Well, that's how the Lord be working, girl. Because how you were saying, you saw the warning signs, and he was like, Chelsea, don't do it. Don't do it. Like I've heard that story so much. I probably walked in that season myself. And like, the Lord does. He tells us to stop. Like he will try to like put all these blockades in our way to stop, stop, stop. No, I'm telling you, don't do it. But we're hard headed sometimes. We have that human side of us that we're like, well, but I like what I see over here. And so I'm ignoring everything that you say. And then finally he'll be like, all right, well then here you go.
I
Let
gave
me
it,
know.
I gave
Let
it a
me
little.
know. When you get back, I'll be here. I'll be here waiting. When you get back, let me know how that worked out for you.
Like,
It's like, and so, in that season, because of the hurt, the trauma, everything that kind of was going on around you, it's not that he wasn't there, but you just weren't ready yet to submit to him and be like, all right, God, I hear you. All right, Lord, here I am. And so, when you walk back into that season with him, it is beautiful. It is beautiful. And then it's like, dang, why did I put myself through all this? And sometimes people will be like, well, why would he allow that happen to you? Right? Why would
yep.
he allow you to walk through such hardships and hard times and abuse and just, why would he allow that? But we don't serve a God that like makes us robots. We do serve a God that gives us free will so that when we do serve him, we're serving him because we love him and we want him, not
Absolutely.
because he's forcing us to be obedient or to follow him or to listen to him. And so it's a hard lesson to learn. And I hate hearing like the stories about like, well, I had to walk through the season because like nobody wants to hurt. Nobody wants to be sad. Like in those seasons, that's when you're like just depleted also. Like feel like the crying, it's like you're crying all the time. Like it's just like,
Yes.
you know, man. And so you got that strength you needed. The pastor talked about this once. The Lord can't bless you where you are if you're in the middle of something. You have to leave what is familiar in order to get that blessing.
Girl.
So that's why when you left, like nobody even said anything to you. For what it's like you said, you just walked in the door.
I walked in and I said, this ain't it.
Mm-hmm.
I literally like it was almost like coming like Snow White. Like I woke up and I was like, wait, where am I? No, this ain't
Yeah.
no, get out of here.
Gotta go.
I gotta go. I gotta get up out of here. Like it's
And
like
praise the Lord that you got that strength to walk away because, like you said, you do have two boys also. And what example do do you want them to have when, as we know, Lathan has said, when he has his wife and kids, my wife, my kids, like, do you want him growing up seeing this is the relationship that my mom is in, so this is how I'm supposed to behave also.
and let's be real, like we think that we're hiding things from our children, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just not the case.
Not the
Like
case.
that's not the case. Like you see how how attentive that Lathan is. Can you imagine him at 7 years old and me being in that marriage still? He would be like, what? Something. He would be literally taking notes.
He would be taking notes.
He would be like, okay, do it like that, bit. Like,
yeah.
It's like, no. That's not, no, we don't treat women like that. We don't.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
So.
Yeah. And like, you're doing such a great job. Like, you know, I know sometimes it can be overwhelming. You know, you said I got the boys, I'm staying in or whatever. But like, you do such a great job with them, even how you parent them and how you talk to them. Like, you do it with such a grace. Like such a grace that they don't feel like, well, my mom is just yelling at me, you know? And so like you do it with such a grace that like they don't have that fear. And so, or maybe it's a healthy fear, you know, it's
I
like
was gonna say it's a fear, but it's not
a healthy fear.
Correct. It's not like I'm yelling for no reason, because sometimes, you know, you have to explain, okay, this is why you shouldn't do this. Like, you know, we're at the age where you already know, we grew up in an age where it says, you know, why? Because I said so.
I said so. I told you so.
Because that's what I said, because I told you to do that. Like, you know,
yeah.
We grew up in that era, which is fine. Look at us, it turned out great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like the way that this generation is coming up with technology at their grasp, if they ask me why and I don't tell them, they're gonna be like, okay, well then let me find out why.
Hey Siri, why?
Why can't you have candy before dinner?
Yeah.
They're gonna find the answer. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like for me to control the narrative, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you why this is not okay. So why you don't tell mommy to mind her own business, because I will because you will go through the wall. Like your head will
this is why you want to. Yes, but like kids do have more access, and so kids are more articulate too. Like in just like their vocabulary, because you know we have another friend you met. You met her. Her daughter is 5, and she pays attention also. Like she can tell you, we were somewhere one day. I took her to the bathroom, and a girl came in, and she had on like a matching set, like silk top and bottom, heels. And she walked out. She said, "Ooh, look at her outfit, matching top, bottoms. Did you see her shoes?" I was like, "Oh, you were paying that much attention." So I'm like, "Okay, this is her thing," you know. And so I was not paying at 6, 5, 6.
Correct. And I was gonna say that gives you a peek into her gifts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, hold on, we got to start paying attention when they say little stuff. You'd be like, wait, you notice her whole outfit and how she threw that together?
In 5 seconds. Like literally the girl came in the bathroom, washed her hands, and walked out.
She's like, oh yeah, I like how she did them colors. Yeah, I would have put a gold clutch with that.
It is important to pay attention to the things that they say and nurture them and point them in that direction. So they're not like how we were. We're supposed to go to college. We go get a bachelor's degree. Now, what should this bachelor's degree be in? Oh, whatever, just go get a degree. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do this. Right. Now I'm graduated. I got this degree that means literally nothing, because if you want to step into a career where you're making the 6 figures and you're the boss, it's not just the bachelor's degree that you have to get. It's the master's and maybe even the PhD.
Correct.
So,
correct. And some of these people out here with experience and still getting these jobs.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Like, I've been with the company for 20 years and I'm senior level executive. What? You ain't got no degree?
No
like,
degree.
All you got is a bachelor?
That's it. Or yeah, well, that's the other thing. Like, I think your mom's a little bit younger than my mom, but in the generation above us, right? Because of where the grandparents kind of came from and what the grandparents were walking out of, education, especially for us Black people, education was the way.
Golden ticket.
You need to go get your education. Go get your education, right? And I always laugh because I feel like only older Black ladies and Black men say, their career is an educator.
Hello.
They don't call themselves teachers. I was an educator.
Nope. Educator. I'm an educator.
Yeah.
That's
But
right.
education was so important. So those of us that were raised in like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, because after like 2005, that's a different generation.
They different. They differences. They
Yeah.
different.
And so, but like that generation, we were told we need to go to school, we need to go get our degree, and that's how you're going to change your circumstances, right? And then we went and we got our degrees, and our circumstances looked exactly the same. And so now this new generation, and I talk to parents, like I have some friends who have older kids, um, and we talked about it, like college, you don't necessarily have to go to college to be successful. Sometimes you might need to go find a trade.
Hello.
Because having a trade is just as valuable, or sometimes even more valuable,
exactly,
than having a piece of paper of a degree. Like me, I have a degree in writing.
Exactly.
What am I going to do with it?
Or you start a business, or you say,
yeah,
I want to be a business owner. I want to be in making shirts, apparel. Yeah. I want to be in fashion.
Yes.
I don't know. Sometimes you can do that without anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know of people who don't have degrees that have salons that are, they have a living in doing hair,
Successful.
makeup.
Highly successful.
Successful. Not a now degree, not a one.
I thought about that. I was like, man, I should have gone into hair. Because if one thing women are going to do, they're going to go get their hair done. They're going to go get their nails done. I mean, so if you figured that out, but I know I wouldn't have been successful at it because it's not my passion.
It's not our gift, sis. Like, I would tear your head up. Like, I would tear your head and your nails.
Yeah. I suck at painting nails. I hate combing my hair. And that's why it is covered. And I look at moms of girls.
Ooh.
And I think, how did they learn how to comb their daughter's hair? So yeah, we took a little tangent, but that's fine because that's what
we did.
That's what we do. And so, what did you do kind of to heal your heart though, as after you walked out that door? Because walking out the door is the hardest thing, right? What did you do to heal your heart?
Well, first I grieved. So I grieved the loss of a marriage, not him. But I grieved because I'd been sleeping in a bed with the same person for 7 years. And so to go from that to like an empty bed, that was really hard. So I grieved, my boys grieved because, they're in the middle. They don't understand like why were we here yesterday and now we're at Yaya's, like what's going on? And so once I got out of that hole, I end up going to the spiritual retreat. And it was me, my best friend, Monica, whom is, it's funny, come full circle. She was the one that told me like, he ain't it. So it's kind of full circle. Yeah. So anyway, I told her, if you say I told you so, girl, I swear. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so I went on a spiritual retreat with her and a few of my other friends from college. And so that was me being reintroduced to him. Like, it was like, hey, Lord. Hey, I miss you, Yeah. And so that was the first step. So then being reintroduced and re-solidifying that relationship with him. And then, of course, counseling, girl. Mm-hmm. Jesus and therapy, girl.
Jesus and therapy.
Put those two together. You got a winner right there. Yeah. So it was very, very hard. It was hard for me to even admit that I was in an abusive marriage. Because I would say, well, it didn't happen all the time. I mean, it was like, so many days. I mean, not days. So many months would pass before the next instance. And then even this one, well, then this last time, I started it. And my therapist was like, girl, what are you? She was like, sis, wake up. No, that's not okay. Like, it doesn't matter what you said. It was like, no, like there's nothing that you could have said. Like, it's not on you. And it took me a while to realize that. Like, I was thinking like, I'm leaving, but she was like, wait a minute, this sounds abuse. Like, yeah, we use physical. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, girl, that was an abusive marriage. I was like, what? So crazy. So therapy, a lot of therapy, a lot of Jesus, church. I end up finding Social Dallas. Yeah. And so end up finding community. Yeah. that
I
helped.
was like, you found me.
I found y'all. So that it kept my mind busy. So it
Yeah.
was like, hey. And like you
Yes.
said, he can't bless your house really if you unless you leave that situation. So he had been telling me, been telling me. And so when I tell you how God carried, when I tell y'all how he just made things just fit into place, I end up moving in with my mom top of January of 2020, 2020, no, 2020, 2021.
Okay.
January, August, I purchased my own house. Like
Get that.
8 months.
Yeah.
8 months. Like that's unheard of. Like I'm like, I just, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah. Like everything has just been moment after moment after moment after moment, encounter after encounter after encounter for me.
It's just like falls into place. Like once you step into his wheel and you say, I can't do this, like there's no way I can do this by myself. Like I just can't. I tried it. You know how the old people used to sing at church, I tried it for myself and I know.
Hello.
And I used to wonder what did they mean by that? And now, unfortunately, I understand what they mean by that. Yeah. But you tried it for yourself, and now you're like, okay, well, I can't do this alone. So I need you. And then you stepped out on the water. Here we go.
He said,
And
come on.
yes, I'm walking. I'm walking.
Two
Two
step.
step. So, and I think I've heard from, various friends and people that have gone through the divorce that when you go to counseling, they tell you that you have to take, like, I don't know how it equates in months or days or years or whatever, but like you have to take a period of however long you were in that relationship just to make sure that you're okay, like with yourself. And before you can even open that door or even think about it. And I remember when you said, I can't even remember, it's been a while ago. You said, you know what, I think I'm going to try this.
Uh-huh.
And then I feel like a week later, you said, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not ready
I'm
yet.
like, nah, no, I'm not ready
All
yet.
right. Yeah. And so where are you sitting at that today? Are you saying, yeah, I'm ready? Or is it still kind of?
Yeah. So I think that the weight of me being here, I started, let me see how I can say this. I don't think that I was trusting him fully. I was thinking that I was missing out on something.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
was thinking like, if I don't get out here right now, I ain't gonna find him. And
Yeah.
so that was a lack of trust in him. And so me jumping out when I said, I think I'm ready. And then I jumped out
Yeah.
saying, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
That was me trying to test. Like I was like, I don't know, Lord, am I supposed to go out here? And he didn't tell me to move. He was like, no, I didn't. Like, that's not, no.
Mm-hmm.
I need more of you. I need more
Mm-hmm.
of you. And so I don't take my single season for granted. So
Yes.
in the single season, and even if I find somebody, I'm still single until I'm married. Okay. And
That
so
part.
in my season of singleness, I'm taking this opportunity to just be engulfed in him because I don't have a partner, right? I don't have a husband. There's nobody above it's literally God and my kids.
Yeah.
And you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And so I am taking this time to really strengthen my relationship. And with that, as my relationship has strengthened, he's been showing me peaks like,
Mm-hmm.
I got something for you. Like I got
Yeah.
something. And before I could get there, I had a shame. I had ultimate shame attached to being divorced. Me being a Christian and being divorced, I was like, is this okay? Like I know you hear all the time, God don't like divorce. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's bad. He don't, and I'm like, so that was ingrained in me. And so I had to unlearn that to say, no, that's not what he wanted for you.
Yeah.
Like if Jesus was literally sitting up, like that's not what he envisioned for you for a marriage. Like there's no way you could have stayed.
Yeah.
And
Well, if I recall, they say there are reasons to leave a marriage.
right,
So if it is a danger to you,
right,
then you have to get away from there.
right,
And
right.
you know, you don't know what it could have progressed to. And that's the other part. And so you stepped into that covenant. You stepped into the covenant and you took it seriously just because of what you were taught and told about. And I think that's one of the biggest things that as Christians that I think we struggle with is when we mess up, when we feel like we do things that disappoint the Lord or we do things that are outside of his will, the shame that we feel. Because he doesn't give us shame. He says, come to me and I will wipe you white as snow. Right? This is what he says. But that's the enemy too, wanting to remind us of how we messed up, wanting us to think we're not good enough, wanting us to believe that we're unlovable because you did this. The Lord will never accept you back. But where does he say that?
Absolutely.
Like, and so shame, like, you have to say it out loud though, too, because the enemy is not a mind reader. So you have to declare it out loud that I don't have this stronghold of shame on me anymore. I'm not walking in this anymore because I have not done anything worthy of shame. And even if I did, I am covered by the blood.
Correct.
Period.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Girl. So it took me a while. It took me a while to just like wipe that shame and that condemnation that I felt. It was just, I was just constantly condemning myself.
Yeah.
And so once I got to step away from that,
mm-hmm.
and on top of just me knowing more about him, then I felt, okay, I can give this dating a shot.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. It's interesting. I don't want to put any words out there because we know life and death lies in the power of the tongue. So
yes.
what I'm gonna say is that it's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, this online dating, especially, like I've never online dated. For one, I have never dated divorced. I've never dated with children. I've never online dated, like dated virtually. Like what is it? And so I come in, you know, guns blazing, like
like
I'm on there like I am Chelsea. I am a single mom, divorced with 2 kids. Like I came in there gangster with it, and people, I bet you somebody was reading my profile like.
They were like, swipe left. Which way do you
swipe right, whichever one. Look, if you ain't got, you know, I came in there hard, you know, and so girl, I had to soften my heart, girl. I had to look at my profile. I said, no, that ain't him. But let me tell you, this online dating is deceitful. You know, you don't know. And so I am a heart person too. I laugh about Lawson being a heart, my heart child, but he gets it from mommy, you know. I wear my heart on my sleeve and I fall fast and I'm in love. You remember he said, yeah, I remember.
I do.
Let's let the talkers know what we're kind of inside joke laughing about.
I remember.
Okay, it's fine. So first time when I tried to online date, this is the one that only lasted a week. Like that online dating span. I ended up meeting this guy and he was a Christian and everything was great. He was handsome, you know, all of these different things. And so like the second day of knowing him, it was the second day. I was like, I'm in love. We're getting married.
You said, this is my person.
This is my person, y'all. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, I'm so excited. This is my person. Like, I was literally like, and I was serious. And
serious.
I remember standing in your kitchen and you said, just give it a couple of days. Hey, Tia, it's done. It's written. It is written. It is so, okay?
Yes.
Oh, amen. And so I remember being like that. I'm in love. I love this man. And I remember telling Monica, my best friend, and she was like, Chels, see, she was like, look, she was like, you don't know how to date. She was like, she said, can I be real with you? I said, what's up? I'm like, what's up? I'm excited. You don't know how to date. I said, what you mean? She said, oh, like you literally will find the first person that you connect with, and that is your man. I was like,
Yes.
oh, she's like, but you need to give time to know people. Like you need to like,
That's the
vet these
thing.
people. And I just, so I will tell you, I'm better. I'm better
Yeah.
now. I'm better now because I mean, I got my heart broken. There was like two other dudes after that was like the one. So needless to say, I was like, I'm not ready. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm ready. So Lord, the heart is wicked and deceitful. I was like, Lord, you wasn't lying about that. You wasn't lying on that part. So
Yes.
yeah. So
Well,
yeah.
how does she say? So she said you don't know how to date. Well, did she tell you how you're supposed to date?
Yeah, she said first she said you have to treat the first date like an interview. Like all of the things that you want, you need to treat it like an interview. Like if he doesn't check, so basically you have your non-negotiables.
Yes.
And so some of us will like, he's checked all 4 of my 5. And then you'll be like, okay, I can deal with this. But she's like, no, if these are your non-negotiables, these are your non-negotiables. So you need to assess whether that person checks these non-negotiables out straight away before you begin to create emotional ties to this person. Because the more you talk to somebody, the more connected you are to them, the harder it is for you to move on if something were to come up and you're like, wait, this was my non-negotiable from day 1, but I'm finding out day 15 that you're a liar, or I don't know. I mean,
Whatever it is. Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's a non-negotiable, but I'm saying like something big.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
you get hot every day. Whatever.
Yeah. Correct.
Yes.
And I'm like, dang, I don't want anybody to smoke weed, and so so that's what she said. She's like, you do that, and then you take time to get to know the person. She's like, when you feel like you're starting to like get feelings, you need to kind of step away a little bit, like check yourself. And then you also see how they interact with your friends. That's another thing, because like you just don't know. Oh my goodness, I have horror stories. Like, oh my goodness. Like, okay, so this new time, like, okay, so I stepped back into dating after the new year.
Okay. Yes.
So I guess like January.
Okay.
Of this year, top of this year. And so, was it the first guy that I met? I think it's the first guy that I met I got on Bumble. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if he was the first or the second. But I ended up meeting this guy. And I'm like, okay, he's going to law school. He's in law school. I mean, everything. He's just like checking these boxes, right? And I'm like, yes. And so our first date, he invited me out with his friends. And he's like, hey, my friends were going out to so-and-so, I want to know if you wanted to accompany me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm meeting his friends. Oh my goodness, here I go. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, no, this is good. This is good. Like I need to meet his friends. And so we meet up at his friend's house, and I noticed that he started taking back shots. And I was like, okay, hey, I'm watching him. Okay. Then he started to get loud. Okay. Nothing wrong with being loud. I'm loud. Like, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Then he started to get, how do I say this? He started to get like embarrassing to me. Like he was like
belligerent a little bit. Like
correct.
Yeah.
Then we ended up going to a restaurant, a really nice restaurant in Bishop Arts. It's called Steak. I don't know if you've ever heard of Steak.
I have not, but I'm surprised because that's I'm gonna have to find out about it though. That's our spot.
Nice vibe. I mean, it is like nice vibe, nice ambiance. I mean, it was just, I would go there again. And so we ended up going to this really nice restaurant. And so he ended up taking 2 shots at the bar. And when I tell you, he went from 0 to 100, it was a nightmare.
Yeah. Okay.
And so this was my second time with his friends. And I was like, nah.
That's weird.
Yeah. But here's
I don't know if I would have made it to dinner, girl.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why did I go to, but like, I was like, why did I even go to dinner? But you know what? it was a whole group of them, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
everyone was chill. Everyone was at like a 3 or a 4. He was on a 10, 15.
What do you think? Maybe he was just nervous?
Don't care.
It don't matter. It was weird though.
Nervous or not. Like, this is how you act when you're nervous. Heck no. I was like, no,
Can't
no,
come
no.
around my friends.
But yeah, so I've been praying like, okay, reveal to me sooner rather than later. Like, I don't
Yes.
want to be days in. I don't want to be weeks in. Lord, if it's not for me, reveal it to me. Let it be known.
I just said that prayer the other day, dude. I
Girl.
did because I got on the dating sites. I've been praying about it. Like, am I supposed to start dating? Because I've been just like doing my own thing. Like, I took time off that turned into a long time off to the point where I'm like, I'm fine by myself.
Uh-huh.
And so everybody's like, Tia, like several people have said it to me. And I was like, Lord, are you telling me something? And so I got on the website because several people have met somebody they were on Hinge. I met somebody on Hinge. Okay, let me try. So I did it on Saturday. Right? And so I said, Lord, you know what? Let's make it very clear. Because I don't want to waste my time talking to anybody. So if this is not the person that I'm supposed to talk to, let them excuse themselves.
Correct.
I haven't talked to him since Sunday, maybe Saturday. So I was like,
I'm telling you. And then
that's why. So
is
what
this
are you
light?
doing?
Is this
No,
light
it's
enough?
no,
Okay.
yeah, it's good. So what are you doing in if you're not on the websites?
Okay. So
What are you
fast forward
doing?
to now. Fast forward to
Yes.
now. So I met a couple of people after that incident with him.
Yeah.
One, I got to like a week and a half and everything was good. And so, I mean, he was a believer. I mean, successful. He looked good. Like I was, all of these things that are like, ding.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And came the conversation of sex.
Mm.
And I told him, yeah, that's not something I plan on doing until I'm married. And he was like, what? And then all of a sudden it's like, like, well, I can't buy the car until I test drive it.
Oh, okay. Well.
Oh, I said, well, you know what? It has been so great getting to know you. Wait a minute. He said, wait, are you serious? I said, I am absolutely 100% serious.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, but like why? Like we can't talk about this. Mm-mm. And I'm telling you, we had went on like 4 or 5 dates. I mean, we had really good
He was like, all
chemistry.
right, we've been on 4 dates. About
He's
time.
like, yep. It's like, what's up? What's
Yeah.
up? And I was like, no. And it's so interesting because that's one of my non-negotiables. Like, we're not having sex. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm doing. I'm not interested in creating any soul ties with any more men. I'm just not. Because,
That's a whole
I had
nother
a little moment.
conversation. Soul ties.
Girl, I was going to say I had a little moment after I got divorced. So I was just like, come on. But anyways,
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a conversation though, because that's real talk. And that's whether you've been divorced, like you've been married and divorced, and you've been sexually active with your partner or your husband, and now you're not with that person any longer. Let's talk about that a little bit. How do you draw that line in the sand? Because you know what you're missing. You've been there, done that. You know what you're missing. So how do you date with intention?
correct. And so that was where I was rusty. I'm like, do I say this on the first date? Do I let it? Because also don't want to deceive them to say they get to knowing me. And then they're like, wait, I didn't sign up to wait until marriage for, wait until marriage for sex. Like, that's not, but I was thinking like, okay, you're a believer, and I understand like sin is all weighed the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just that's one of those things that I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm drawing the line in the sand. I'm not crossing this line.
Yeah.
And whether let's be real, there's a lot of Christians that aren't waiting until marriage, right?
Yeah.
And so I just happen to be one of those that is.
Yeah.
And so like, how do I bring this up casually? Like first date, second date, third date. And so it just so happened that praying that same prayer, Lord, make it known right now. I don't want to go weeks. And so the conversation came up. And so when it presented itself, that's when I was like, insert
Yeah.
No sex before marriage. And so
BT dubs.
yeah, and so it's so interesting. And so after that, the next day he was like calling me like, hey, like, let's talk about this. Like, I'm okay to do. And I'm like, I am so sorry to say, like, I'm not trying to be very strict. I'm not trying to be very, but I feel like he'd already showed his hand.
Yeah.
And so even with him saying, no, I'll wait, I was like, no, like your heart, like I feel like that's something that you gotta deal with on your own. Not for
And we got
me.
to be on the same page, because you might be telling me right now that no, I'll wait, but you didn't make that decision. So you're just coming along with my decision. We need to have the same decision.
Correct. Like I
Same
needed to
decision.
known, like we both, like I say that and you say, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, no sex before marriage.
Yeah.
Like I 100% agree. And then girl, we would still be talking to this day, maybe. I don't know. But
Maybe,
you know what I'm
maybe
saying?
not.
Maybe not. I don't know what else would have come up. But you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, and so after that, so I mean, I wasn't heartbroken, but I was a little disappointed because that was the longest person I had talked to. And I'm thinking like, oh my goodness, okay.
Yeah.
Like there's hope. You know,
Yes.
I mean, everything on my list, check, 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 check. Like it was
Yeah.
crazy. And I was a little disappointed. And I said, okay, Lord, you know, okay, let me look at this differently.
Mhm.
Maybe because another thing that's hard with online dating is that all you can see is the picture and what they write. And
Yes.
so if you have in your mind what you want your husband to look like, you could be passing by people that could be perfect. And like that's another thing that's scary about online dating.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
takes away that organic encounter as opposed to I
Yes.
meet you in a coffee shop and you don't look like somebody I would talk to, but we so happen to grab the same coffee. And then here we are communicate. And then I found like, okay, I like this dude, like he wouldn't have been somebody I would have talked to. As opposed
Yeah.
to I'm looking online dating and I'm like, heck no, like heck
Yeah.
no.
Well, that's so funny because like I told you, I got on there, and then my friend told me, she said, maybe Hinge is too much. Try Facebook dating. I was like,
Ooh.
fine. I was like, okay, maybe. I don't know. So I did it today because just why not? And when somebody was like, nobody reads this anyway. Y'all just looking at the pictures. That was what
Correct.
the person said. And I was like, and that's what online dating is, and that's why I don't like it. Because I said, if I'm just looking at these pictures, I'm not even reading what these people are saying. I'm just like, oh, this looks like somebody I would talk to, or this doesn't look like somebody I would talk to. Like,
Right.
clearly the people that it looks like I would talk to didn't work out. So maybe I need to try the alternative.
Try the alternative. Read the profiles.
Yes. Well,
Read
that's
the
what happened with that Justice
profiles.
profile, made me laugh out loud, and LOLing is big. Like if I can read the words that you say and I audibly
You
laugh,
laugh.
oh, this guy is
You're
funny.
like, okay. And then you look at the picture, you be like, okay,
I was like, maybe, but sure, let's try this out. I don't
let's see
know.
what he look like in person. Cause some of these men, they don't know how to take pictures. Like it just don't work out.
So are you going to speed dating? What are you doing?
So, okay. So then when I prayed that prayer and I was like, oh, there's nobody out here that matches. I end up matching with this guy after that. And he Christian, everything checked off. And then now I bring up the conversation of sex before marriage early. I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to have no sex. Look, what's your favorite color? Like, I just want to let you know I ain't having no sex before marriage because listen, y'all be out here playing. Y'all be talking about y'all. And he's like, yeah. And so he was like, no, absolutely, I agree. And I was like, wait, huh? I said, oh, wait, I'm sorry, wait, what did she say? And
I
he's
thought
like,
we were done talking.
I thought we was in bud. You ain't got to talk to me no more. You ain't got to call me. He's like, wait a minute, y'all feel the same way. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And so he was like, yeah, though he feels the same way. And he says he feels like what's important is boundaries. He was like, so there's no, you don't come to my house, I don't come to your house. We always meet in public. And he says that is the only way it's going to work. We have to set clear boundaries. And so I talked to him for a little bit and then I stopped. And so I'll tell you why. I started to get scared. I'll be all the way 100 with you. Like it was like, okay, I like this guy. I'm like, and then my mind fast forwarded, like we living together, we got kids, and I was like, wait,
Calm down, Lacey.
I was like, I'm sorry, I'm going through some things right now. Look, I'm not ready to date right now, but I wish you best. Look, and I was great. She's a runner, she's a track star. I was gone. I was gone. And then so, but I had to, right? So I know it sounds crazy right now, but I had to. And so once I literally stepped out and I started to, things started to align, like my purpose, I started to, all of a sudden, this man is placed on my spirit. Like now on Lathan's birthday, he texted me and said, hey, on his birthday party, at the birthday party.
Okay.
Hey, I was just thinking about you. How you doing? And I'm like, and like, I didn't think anything of it. And we texted and that was it. Yeah. And so then I'm like getting some things together. And all of a sudden he's placed on my heart. I'm like, he texted him. Hey, I was just thinking about you. I'm sitting here talking to a friend. Like, how are you? And he's like, oh, this is interesting. And then so we've been talking ever since. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And so I like him. And so it's different. So it's different in the event that I'm like, I love him. Like it's not, it's authentic. It's a, okay, like calm down. I know he has me. There's no need to worry. There's no need for me to worry about the future. Today has enough on its own. I take it at a time. And he is very intentional as well. He is a man of God. Do you hear me? Do you hear
praise
me?
Him, girl. Praise
When I tell you, like, they talk about the equally yoked. That's no joke. That is no joke. When you are out here seeking your partner, it is imperative that they are on your level, if not a little bit above, but at least both
not under. Yeah.
You can't be under me. Like, you're supposed to be the head. Like, I can't, I'm sorry. I'm the way I'm designed, the way he set me up, I can't follow nobody that I feel is like this. I just don't, it just does not work. I'm a very dominant, very, very dominant person. And so, so everything is, I mean, I'll just leave it at that.
So happy. I'm surprised. This is how I'm learning about this.
I know, because it's like, it's not anything yet. He's my friend.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking as you were talking about this though, and that's what the problem is with online dating, because it's like, okay, I matched with this person, so now we got to date. Correct. But that's not how you know if you like a person. Like, the strongest relationships that I see are based on people that were friends first.
Right.
And so, like, that's why I think online dating,
I know, and it's overwhelming, because when you connect with someone, you're like, okay, do I connect with somebody else, or do I just put my attention into this person? Yeah. It's overwhelming. And so I feel like also another thing as to why I stepped back from him is that I couldn't see him because I was still distracted by the other people that were still on the platform. Like, I was still connecting with people. I was still texting other people. Yeah. And so I could not it became too much. Yeah. And so once I deleted that app, I said, I'm out of here. Once that thing happened with the other dude, I got off of it. I was like, no, I'm getting off. Yeah. And so once I got off, and I was just like, it's just me and you. And, a few weeks later, he brought him back to my spirit. And then I'm like, okay, but now it's different because I'm not distracted by other stuff. Yeah. Yeah. It's just him that I'm texting. It's just him that I'm trying to cultivate a friendship. If there's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that way. And I was like, yeah. So we were like, okay, when are we gonna see each other? So he ended up going to Toronto. He has 2 kids. He's also divorced. And so he has 2 kids that live in Toronto. And so he was like, hey, I'm actually leaving next week to go to Toronto. I'll be gone for a week. And so I said, okay. Well, so he was like, am I going to see you before, I leave? And I'm like, I don't know. And so we ended up meeting at Starbucks for like a couple of hours. So I got to see him then. And
that's so sweet.
He gets back tomorrow. So
that's sweet, friend. I like it. I'm happy. Yes. No wonder you said I'll get to that later. I'm gonna
get to it.
It's
still new.
I got a friend. We just talking.
Just talking, girl.
What did they? They used to say that like when I was young, and they say you not courting, but they say, oh, y'all just talking. Like they not dating, they just talking. Yes. That's so cute though.
Girl, and
I'm gonna pray for it too. I'm gonna pray about it for you.
whatever this is, if it is,
Lord, let your will be done.
Let your will be done. Whatever this is, just, I don't want to get too, I don't want to get too into it, because my heart will be connected.
But don't miss it though.
I'm not gonna, girl.
Don't
When
miss it.
It gives me a little bit. I don't want to say anxiety because I don't want to speak that. I don't want to proclaim that. But
yeah,
it's new for me.
Yeah.
Even the way, even our conversations, it's like this man speaks out of love. Like
Yeah.
it's like the way he handles me, like the way that he talk. I'm like, even when he talks about Lathan and Lawson, not even have met them,
Yeah.
he'll, like, I hear them in the background, like they make me smile. I think of my own kids, like the
Yeah.
thing that he says, because that was another fear of mine. I meet someone, are they gonna love my kids as their own? Like, do I have to also deal with how they handle my children because they're my girl? I don't play about them.
Yeah. I mean, of course not.
I'm guarded in that aspect because I need you to be able to fit. And so him saying that, it's like every fear or any intimidation that I feel, the Lord is like validating it. And I cannot explain to you how he's doing it. He's just doing it.
Because you trust in him in it. You're trusting him, and you have already, because you set those boundaries for yourself. You set those boundaries for yourself, and you're like, Lord, I'm going to do this the way that you want me to do it. And then, his timing is perfect timing. His timing is perfect. And so I'm continuing to pray over it. I made a list. I put it inside my Bible, and I just put it in there, and I haven't looked at it since then. And I just hope for the best because it gives me anxiety. But
and I want to tell you this, encourage you that when you see a red flag, and this is not like a red flag where you're like, oh, I don't know, I saw this and now it makes me believe that, because we have to be careful. I heard this on a call. You have to be careful that your past disappointment doesn't take on the voice of discernment. So you could be looking at something that happened to you in the past, so like a past disappointment, and you think that that's discernment. Like, oh yeah, no, something is telling me that this is not right.
This is not right. Yeah.
And it's like you're looking at it because you were once hurt in the past by maybe somebody that resembled them, or maybe someone said that same comment. And so your disappointment is then masking itself as discernment. So you have to be careful of that. But also, when you see a non-negotiable, sis, like the instance with the guy who checked every box, but then the marriage before sex, I mean, sex before marriage, he was like, nah, I ain't doing that. I could have easily said, all right, like, that's fine. But like, checked every box. Like, I can deal with this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you can't compromise on it. So, and that's what I feel like the hard thing is, like, even like as you get older, because society tells you you're supposed to be married, you're supposed to have this or that, you're supposed to have it all together. And then so sometimes, especially like at my age, like people start to like make compromises. Well, I guess I can accept this, I guess I can accept that. And so, and I'm guilty of saying that. I'm like, at this age, what I might be looking for is a unicorn. Like, I might be looking for a unicorn, but maybe the unicorn is out there, because the unicorn is the one thing that is for you. So maybe the unicorn, I might think is a unicorn, but maybe that's just them being in their purpose. And so they were the person that is for me. I know there's somebody for me out there. Absolutely. Like, I don't feel hopeless, but sometimes I'm like, where he at? Like, Lord.
But remember what we said. Look, I was telling you about online dating. I'm like, you have to get out there. Like, online dating is not ideal, but it's like, okay, now that you're doing this business, you're doing this, you're going to be super busy. You have to think about, okay, when am I going to even have time to have encounters with others? You know what I'm saying? So you're putting yourself out there to where you're like, hey, here I am. You know what I'm saying? And I 100% believe your person is out there. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just need somebody told Jesse, you remember Jesse that was with us on New Year's? Yes. He said, I don't want like encouragement. I want introductions.
Girl, let me tell you.
I want an introduction. I don't want to.
Come on.
I need to have friends that have boyfriends, not boyfriends. Man friends.
They got friends
that are not married, that are not attached to somebody else, that are not in a situation. Like, hey, Tina is so funny.
so cool. Oh my goodness. What? Oh my goodness. Tia, she loves that movie. Oh, what do you drink? She loves water. Oh my goodness. You have to meet her.
Water is so good.
She loves water. Oh my goodness. Your shoes. She loves shoes. She loves white shoes.
White
Those things
shoes,
that you
not
have on specifically.
that is funny that you said it because I do like white shoes, but not dirty white shoes.
Girl. And you know what? I stay with a dirty white shoe.
I just
I
had to get rid of my
stay,
shoes because they were dirty. I said I need a new pair.
I stay with a dirty white shoe. I will
Casey
admit.
was like, dirty white shoes are in.
Girl, I probably did that. I did that.
Um, we could sit on here and we could talk for a million more hours. I could sit and talk to you for hours.
Girl, don't you go out there and start jamming, girl. Shoes.
I was like, we'll sit and talk for hours. But we didn't have exact direction on how we wanted to go, but it went how it needed to go. And I really hope that somebody is blessed by this conversation tonight. Because I think you were dropping gems. I might have added some to you,
Yes, girl.
but like it's just good stuff. And like, learning how there's redemption and there's hope and there's love and there's grace and kindness on the other side. And even if you are in a situation right now where you feel like you're stuck, where you feel like you don't have that out, you don't have anywhere to go, like knowing that the tenderness that is on the other side of that, like I always say, like, the Lord picks us up and like we're in all of our broken pieces
Yes.
and just like puts us back together. Like, I mean, he's the potter, right? And
Yes.
so, and he just makes something even more beautiful out of it. Like even just watching you, like the past year and a half, I would say it's been a minute, girl. And so just watching you, like your transition and just like you finding your joy also and finding your rhythm as a mom, trying to raise these young boys and raise them right and teach them that no, you can't say this to mommy, like, manners and, things like that. Just watching you step into this, it's just so beautiful. And, seeing you, because I feel like when we first met, you were fresh out of that situation.
I was. Yep.
And, just kind of, I remember we were at Connect Group and I was kind of sharing my testimony and just like watching you. And I was like, she knows something. Like this is touching on something within her, and then like to who you are now, like girl, you are doing the thing. You got the home and it's your home. Like you have a beautiful home and you're keeping it together for your boys and you're doing what you have to do. And so I think that's the other thing why you can be ready for somebody, because you're at a place where you don't need them. So they can only come in and add to the equation.
Whole all by myself.
Yes. And that's lovely. And that's beautiful.
Feels great. It feels great.
And thank you for sharing tonight and just, being transparent and talking about the real life stuff.
Yes, girl.
Real
There's
things.
a lot more, but maybe that could be another call.
We can have multiple calls. Sometimes you can come be my co-host.
Girl, let's make it happen.
Yes, yes. So, but anyhow, I know you got a volcano to make.
Yes, the volcano. Yep. The boys are like,
well, thank you for coming on here tonight and looking cute and all together. And tell the people again, what's the name of your website?
PriceOutLoud.com.
PriceOutLoud.com. I'll shout it out when it's ready.
Yeah, shout it out when it's ready.
You already know me and Casey need to get some merch. Like you already know.
Of course.
And so yes, but hey everybody, I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation tonight and this talk tonight. And thank you once again, Chelsea, for being on here. And thanks for watching. We Just Talking. Have a good night.